Hello everyone, welcome back to our 5412 Financial 5512. In this video we'll review week 2 introduction to bank, just as what we said in week 1. So let's start. So begin with, we'd like to look at the outline in the textbook. Sorry, excuse me. So for the main activity of commercial banks, it is asset as transformation, maturity transformation, credit risk diversification, the transformation, liquidity transformation, economic of scale. Second is social funds, liability of on-balance sheet activity. I'm sorry for that, I'm just a little fund off balance sheet activity. Oh, sorry, I cannot control my body. I don't know why. And you wait this for a while. Digesting my head too heavy. Wait a minute. Wait 5 minutes. Yeah, sorry for interpretation. So let's continue. So source of fund, liability of non-unbalanced sheet balance. We need to know that's the difference between the assets and liability in the bank, on the statements in the bank. Our balance sheet activity, direct credit, substitutes, trade and performance related item, commitment, foreign exchange, interest rate, and other market rate rating contract. Off balance sheet activity, and this is a regulation and supervision of commercial banks. It's a regulatory structure in Australia, Basel 2 with Basel 3. So in this so that's all. So in this section we need to know the calculation of Basel 2 and Basel 3 and the capital adequacy requirement calculation. So it's a little bit, so in chapter 2, in week 2, there is a little bit difficult, a little bit challenges because it contains some calculations. Yep, so just as we did before, the next part is the vocabulary list, and in this time we can just copy that. And delete the information in here. Yes, that's fine. So solvency, unsecured, collateral, reverses, regulation, prudential supervision, risk-weighted assets, hedging, speculating, financial intermediation, assets transformating, maturity transformation, credit risk transformation, liquidity transformation, economies of scale, contingent liability, operational risk, yes, market risk, leverage, exposure. So we need more. So insert below, Ctrl C, Ctrl V. Just several convention factor, capital adequacy, counterparty, authorized deposit taking institution, ADI, and we need to delete this row. Okay, ask GPT again. So the first part is solvency, unsecured collateral reserve regulation, specific financing, hinge, speculating hinge. So that's all. That's good. And I think I just confused. No worries. GPT is clever enough to understand what I should know. Solvency is the ability of the firm or individual to meet the long-term financial objectives or remain financial stable, unsecured, a loan or debit that is not backed by collateral and relies on the borrower's creditworthiness. This is an asset applied by the borrower to secure a loan, which can be seized if the borrower defaults. Reserves is the fund held by bank to meet withdrawal demands and regulation requirements. Reserves regulation is the rules and laws set by authority to control and supervise financial institution and the market. Prudential supervision is oversight aimed to ensure financial institutions operate safely and maintain stable in the financial system. Great. And the risk-weighted assets is the adjusted asset adjusted for the risk level to determine how much market value must hold. Good. And the next part we'll discuss the speculation, financial intimidation as transformation. So it's the function of the bank. Yeah, I just covered it. So just a few minutes ago, I just think I'm too tired. I just got sleepy. My head is too heavy. Let's go. The speculation is investing instead which high risk. It hopes for achieving a lot profit from price change. Financial intermediation is the process where financial institutions act as intermediaries between savers and the bankers or borrowers. Assets transformation is the process by which financial institutions transform the characteristics of the banks of the assets, for example, to meet the need for savers and the borrower. Maturity transformation is converting short-term fund into long-term loans, short-term to long-term. The maturity transformation is reducing or spreading credit risk through diversification or guarantees. Liquidity transformation. Sorry for that. I think this one here. Maturity transformation is the using here. Financial transformation, asset transformation. So I just lost the hinge. So it's my bad not putting the hinge. Sorry for that. Liquidity transformation is convert liquidity assets into common for into converting liquidity illiquid assets into hinge. So we need to putting the hinges here. But we are not supposed to use it now. Economical scale is the cost advantage gain when product operates increasing size. Contingent liability is the liability a potential rising on the future events. Yes, a potential. The operate risk is a risk of loss due to failure in internal process or human errors. Market risk is a risk in the markets, risk or loss due to the change of market price. Correct. We send it. Next part and next few parts. Apart from that, we also have the Basel hedge, a risk management strategy using to reduce offset potential robust position. Yes, the hedge. When you use hedge, you can never earn more profits. You're always supposed to maintain. Okay. Leverage the use of borrowing fund to returns. Using borrowed funds to increase return. Exposure is the amount of risk a person or institution face from a particular asset's conversion factor is a factor that's used to convert value of one financial instrument into the value of another. What does that mean? A factor used to convert the value of one financial instrument into equivalent value for another. A conversion. So I need to explain to me more detailed. Yes, I do not fully understand the conversion factor means. Capital adequacy is the requirement for bank to hold efficient capital reserves or losses, and the counterparty is the that's facing from the other party. The capital adequacy is a requirement for bank to hold sufficient capital relevant to the risk-weighted asset to absorb losses. Yes, authorized deposit taking institution is the financial institution licensed to exceed deposits under regulation. So there was special treatment in Australia. Special treatment in Australia. Explain conversion factor is one of those terms that sounds conversion is a multi to standardize difference more important use. Yes, in bond factor market, the main difference can be divided into future contracts. I know what that means. Just price is the bond price times convert price, allows fair conversion with other bonds. Yeah, conversion factor is a multiplier used to standardize different financial instruments so they can be compared or exchanged fairly. That's the key. Okay, finish. So let's go to the notes. It's a little bit difficult because it has many concepts and also. So what? So we need tips in the notes. So the first one we need to introduce in the bank. So let me introduce the concept things briefly. Commercial banks, foreign financial banks, so it's the history of commercial banks. So the main function, the role is asset transformation, mature transformation, credit risk diversification transformation, liquidity transformation, economic scale. Sorry for that, I forgot most of them. First one is the asset transformation, mature transformation, convert short-term into long-term assets, financial from the credit meet the need of credit risk transformation through diversification warranties, liquidity transformation convert illiquidity into liquidity component, economical scale. Yes, I need to highlight them because they're more important than and this time confused about these concepts, which means it'll confuse me in the future. Okay. Commercial banks on balance sheet balance. So on balance sheet activities, all we can find is the balance sheet of the bank. On the asset part is the personal and financing, commercial lending to government. How the banks in on the liability part, it's the deposits, co-deposit and deposit certificate of deposit, COD, bill acceptance liability, date liability, foreign exchange and equity is the one capital. Off balance sheets, off balance sheet transactions are the significant part of the financial. So it's there. So it contains 5 times the notion value of off balance sheet activity is 5 times the value of on balance sheet activity. It's direct credit substitutes, trade information for items, commitment, foreign exchange items. So we'd like to introduce this one, but there is no introduction of these terms in the vocabulary, so I need to extend your knowledge. So it is the off balance sheet activities contains five parts. So 1.1 is the direct credit substitutes. Sorry for that. Substitute. What is better undertaking provided by bank to support the on the client. What does that mean? So substitute. What is substitute?
Substitute.
Undertaking provided by the bank to support the financial of the client. Next one is trade and performance rate items. What does that mean? Undertaking provided by bank to third party promising under the term of the federal contract. Trade and performance rate items. Undertaking provided to a third party promising payments under the terms of a specific commercial contract. Yes, I got it. So the format is incorrect to some extent. So third one is commitment. The contract of the bank that are yet to be completed or delivered. Sorry for the space. The contractual obligation of financial bank that are yet to be completed or delivered. Foreign exchange interest rate on the bank rate contracts. Yes, our balance sheet activity transactions that contain liability and therefore they are not recorded off balance sheets. Our balance sheet activity frequently a source of fee income might not be risk increasing activity, but rather they are used as a hedge activity to mitigate exposure. Regulation, and then we discuss Australian regulatory structure, the Reserve Bank of Australia, Australian Prudential Regulation Authority, Australian Security and Investment Commission, Australian Competition and Consumer Commission, Bank Regulation Prudential Supervision, and the capital adequacy requirement. That's very essential. That's the most important part. Basel II structure framework. Basel II structure framework. Yes. Follow the formatting here. 2.1. So we first discuss Pillar 1 capital adequacy. Pillar 1 requires that minimum 4% held in the Tier 1 capital. Remainder can be held as Tier 2 supplementary capital. So regularly can require institution to hold a capital rate above 8%. So we just use a spring cut over here. It's not very difficult for calculation, but it's important to remember the concepts. Capital adequacy standard approach involves risk weighted, and we need to know the risk weighted. So it is said to be the risk weightings methods. Yes. And we'll discuss about Basel III framework. We can see here. So that's the conclusion of the or if I can remember this one, I can work out the Basel. So just putting here, and that's key is essential. The operation risk go past operation. So next part is Basel II review capital adequacy, Basel III market discipline, liquidity management. Liquidity is a key source of fund to meet day-to-day expenses and commitment. Banks have special liquidity problem owing to mismatch maturity brought bank in the payment system. So we can see the description of the liquidity liquidity. Sorry, no liquidity transformation, but there is no explanation about the liquidity management. Oh, it says liquidity transformation. Day-to-day Basel III requirement. So that's all in the notes. So in week 2, we introduce the bank and the capital adequacy requirements in Basel 2, Basel 3. And we need to remember the percentage. In Basel 2, it's 4%. We know that. 4% in the Tier 1, others can be Tier 2, and the overall ratio is 8%. So the detailed one is in here. We can know that the minimal capital is in Basel 2, the common equity Tier in Basel 2 is 2%. The additional Tier 1 is 2%. So the total Tier 1 capital is 4%. The Tier 2 capital is 4%. So the total capital is 8%. In Basel 3, the common equity Tier 1 is 44.5%, 1.5%. Although the overall total capital 8%, the total Tier 1 capital has changed in Basel 2 from 4% to 6%. Yes, remember this amount and be familiar with terms. So that's all about week 2's review. Goodbye.